All right, everybody, grab your coffee. Now we're going to talk cash, cold, hard cash. We're talking cash flow. So if you're a coffee roaster and you're out there, you need cash to buy your roaster. You need cash to purchase your green coffee beans. You need cash to pay yourself for roasting all that delicious coffee. And how are you going to do that? How are you going to continue to roast and deliver this delicious coffee to your clients, to your friends, to your family, to your community if you don't have cash flow, right? We want you to be able to generate positive cash flow, right? We're not a non-for-profit. We're doing this as a business. We may be doing it as a side hack for right now, or a side hustle for right now, but in the future, maybe you want to turn your roasting business into a big scale company where you're roasting for multiple wholesalers, and we want you to be thriving and be successful at that. So in order to do that, we need cash flow. We need positive cash flow so that you can pay yourself, so that then you can pay employees and you can give back to your family and to your community over time. And so now you're thinking like, Kim, how the heck am I going to do that? I can't, afford to pay myself. The margins are so thin. Green coffee prices have been on the rise. Utility prices are up. So now the cost of running my roaster is more expensive than I thought in the past when I first started out in this venture. So how am I going to be able to pay myself and run the roaster and pay for my coffee beans and the coffee bags and the labels and any marketing that you want to do around your business? Well, I work with my clients on a special cash management process that we utilize in the businesses, where you set aside cash and you build cash reserves over time by paying yourself first, paying the business first. And so that cash management process that we're talking about is Profit First. It's based on a book by Mike Michalowicz, Profit First. And we take the equation where we're looking at sales. So you have all your cash coming into the business minus your profit, right? Minus the money that you're going to pay yourself, that you're going to leave in the business so it can grow. And you put that cash aside first, and then you cover all the expenses of the business. And the expenses that I'm talking about are your utilities and your employees and your rent. And so again, focusing on paying yourself first, building profits and cash reserves in your business will help you to remain thriving over time, continuing to serve your business community, serve your local communities, serve your main street of your town over time. Now, okay, so then you're like, okay, well, that sounds great. I really want to generate that cash flow and I want to have that cash flow on hand. So how do I do that? Well, let's talk about doing an instant assessment of your business, looking at all the cash that's coming into the business, looking at your costs associated with paying your suppliers and material costs. So you have material costs associated with your coffee beans that you're buying, right? So it's like, okay, so if you have your cash coming into the business, you have to pay for your coffee beans. After you pay for your green coffee beans, what do you have left? What cash do you have after that? And then you take that cash and we set it up, and we take certain percentages of that cash and we set it aside in accounts that you've set up at your bank. Now, okay, think of your accounts as like different plates that you have on your table, and you're putting the cash in different plates, or maybe like different envelopes, right? Or different jars, different coffee jars that you have, and you're hiding the cash in different coffee jars in your closet. Same sort of concept. So we're taking $100,000 business. You're generating $100,000 in cash from your sales of your coffee beans. Then you can take that $100,000 and you're going to look at that and say, okay, what percentage of that can I set aside into a profit account, put in my profit coffee jar, put into my owner's pay card, so paying yourself your owner's pay coffee jar, and into your operating expense coffee jar, right? So we're going to focus on that. We also want to cover taxes. We may want to look at hiring new employees. So we may want to have other coffee jars associated with those additional investments in our business. But for right now, we're going to focus on funding our profit account, paying ourselves our owner pay, and covering our operating expenses. And by doing that, you're going to look to set aside that cash for yourself and your business first. Again, sales minus profit equals expenses. And then you're going to ensure that you have paid yourself, that you're gaining the cash that you need to keep the business thriving over time. And you then have the ability to then grow, expand into new lines of business, maybe experiment with some new coffee beans over time, in terms of purchasing those beans, and then take that extra cash and therefore stay in business longer, being able to pay your employees longer, maybe be able to sleep a little bit better because you're not worried about where the cash flow is coming, because you've built up this cash reserve in your profit account and in your owner's pay account because you're paying yourself. And now you're really thriving, you're feeling really good. It's building your confidence. Your cash flow is building your confidence that your business is doing really well, and you're really, again, like we talk about, like brewing up your cash flow, like you're brewing up your business, just like you're brewing up delicious coffee. So I really challenge you to consider putting in place a process where you're going to set aside and build cash reserves. Again, one of the processes that I use with my clients is Profit First. Profit First is based on a book written by Mike Michalowicz, and we utilize the Profit First book, the instant assessment, the assessment that we use to analyze your financial statements, take your cash that you're getting into the business and then the cash that's flowing out, and determine how we can get you to a point where you're setting aside these cash reserves and paying yourself first. Start doing that as soon as possible, right? So start building those cash reserves so that you know you're going to be thriving over time. And I know it's really hard, right? It's never easy to make a change or to look at your business differently, because again, you're an expert at roasting coffee, right? You may not be an expert at cash flow. However, this process of setting aside your cash first, paying yourself first, setting aside the profits of the business that you want to achieve first, is going to help you to build this amazing business that you've always dreamed about having. And the opportunity to do that is then going to be able to help you serve your community, serve your families, serve your employees, in amazing ways that you've probably never even considered possible. So really focusing on how cash is king, right? Like you may have heard that analogy or saying before, like cash is king. Well, I know it's kind of corny and kind of silly. I often say like cash is king and profit is queen. Both are super important to achieve in your business. And by utilizing Profit First, utilizing a set process to set aside that cash so that the cash in your business is working for you, not you working for the business, right? It's like, I want you to be thriving and you to gain the experience where you see this cash building in your business and you can really see the amazing things that your coffee roasting business is doing for you, so that you can put more time and energy in it because you're seeing the amazing return that you're achieving. And then being able to take those profits that you're building in the business, take the pay that you're getting, and then make the decision, okay, what do I want to do next with the business? Do I want to take the profits that I'm generating and reinvest them? Maybe your business is growing so much and you need to take those additional cash reserves that you've built in the business to buy a new roaster, a larger roaster. Maybe you don't even have a roasting machine yet. And so you're trying to set aside cash so that you can ultimately purchase or lease a roasting machine in the future. So this is a great way to start setting aside that cash so that when you decide that you're ready to purchase the new roaster, that you don't have to take out all the debt, so that you have some cash set aside to finance the initial payment. Maybe you take out a little bit of debt, to a portion of debt to finance the roaster, and then you can really have less pressure on yourself and on the business in the future because you're, again, having a little bit more down for a down payment, similar to like if you were buying a house, right? And you're buying a house, mortgage companies are looking for ideally 20% down, right? So think about it that way. Like, okay, if you can put 20% down in cash on your roasting machine, and then have that help kickstart you in your financing for the roasting machine. And then that just gets you that much further ahead, gives you that much less pressure on servicing the debt of buying that roaster over time. And again, just really having the focus of like, okay, look at what amazing things this roastering business can do for me, and then being able to take that cash and purposefully every quarter, every month, every week, seeing it build and build and build. It helps you build your confidence and helps you realize that the business that you're in is successful, right? Because a lot of times we don't know, like, is the business working? Is it not working? Well, it's working if you're setting aside profit first, you're putting aside your profit, you're paying yourself, then you can really identify that, okay, awesome, I'm doing something right, I'm doing something that makes sense for me, that I'm paying myself, I'm getting a return, and I'm really looking forward to the next phase of my business as to what I can do with the cash reserves that I'm building. And if you're interested in talking more about Profit First and what Profit First cash management process can do for you as a coffee roaster in your business, well, reach out to me. Come visit me on Cash Flow and Coffee with Kim on Instagram, or visit me at www.kimlogsdon.com. Again, that's www.kimlogsdon.com. I'm here to serve you, and I cheers you for all the coffee and all the business that you're brewing up. Have a great day.